Good evening. This is the voice of Storm. And this is the origin of orb. For those who have eyes to see, for those who have ears to hear, for those who have a mind fully functional, open and aware. For those out there in consciousness at present who choose, and it is a choice and doesn't have to be, you do as you please. But those who choose, you are most welcome to this information. And thoroughly enjoy. This is a ride. There are 4 booklets of this Book of Orb. This is the first, The Origin of Orb. Written and illustrated by myself. Beautifully painted from my illustrations by the wonderful artist Lindsay Calvert. Watch that name, folks. That is a caterpillar becoming a butterfly really quick and deservedly. Let's fly. The Origin of Orb. Enjoy. I'll show you those illustrations. Well, they're now beautiful paintings instead of cryptic drawings. The Book of Orb, Volume 1, The Origin of Orb. An extremely simple explanation of the origin of absolutely everything. I'll share the first picture with you. Preface. life breathes. And when life breathes in, like holding your breath, it is a void, a black hole of nothingness. And when life breathes out, it creates all. The story of the origin of orb. In the beginning, orb came from the void of nothingness. No thing. Nothing but the moving of energy, like the motion of the ocean. And the way in which energy moved made a shape known as waves. That shape created the light that forms life. So, when that shape appeared, we could see it for the first time, and it looked like the sun, a ball of white light, an orb. This was the very first orb of light. As time passed, orb became curious. Orb knew all about being an orb, but orb wanted a new experience. So orb went on an adventure and moved from its center to its edge. Anywhere on its edge would do, so that it could have a new experience in a new space. Orb then did the only thing it knew how to do. It made, you guessed it, orb number 2. "That was fun," said Orb. "I want to do that again." But Orb now had a choice of direction in which to go to make another orb in a new space. This way or that way. So Orb went that way, and when it reached its edge, Orb expressed itself with all its might and glee, and of course created orb number 3. Orb was so happy with its creation that it continued to move in the same direction towards its edge to see what more. When it arrived, it just had to form orb number 4. Follow the arrows. At this point, the orbs discovered the first petal of their flower. They were so amazed at having created a petal that they wanted to see what more they could achieve. And you guessed it, they brought alive orb number 5. And they also discovered the second petal of their flower. As the orb's journey was proving enlightening, they decided to continue. The orbs were so excited, they burst into dance. They spun around and around in a joyful trance, and with a few tricks, they conjured up orb number 6. They also discovered the third and fourth petals of their flower. The orbs were ecstatic at the results they had achieved. They were having so much fun spiraling magically towards their heaven that they just went on to create orb number 7 and the 5th and 6th petals of the flower of life. But oh no, Orb did not stop there. Orb went on making orbs in the same way and in the same direction forevermore. And guess what? The orbs created more and more shapes and flowers, and these shapes became so big and so complex that they formed the universes, galaxies, solar systems, planets, humans, animals, plants, minerals, and absolutely everything, anywhere, ever. And do you know what? Orb is still moving to new spaces and creating new orbs right to this day. And with every new orb in a new space comes the creation of a new opportunity and new life. Something that was not possible before. And so you see, the great wheel of life is always turning, seasons changing, and beautiful opportunities arising. The only constant is change. Acknowledgement. In compassion for and loving memory of all the galactic beings, especially native earthlings, whom have courageously carried forth this wisdom through lives and deaths to this day, so that we may remember who we are and why we are here. Aho. I would like to thank my experiences for my teachings, which have led me to remember the origins of life, so that I can share them with you. And that was the Book of Orb, the Origin of Orb. And as you used to slightly more lengthy videos than 19 minutes, which is a very amusing number to me, I'll explain the 19 story one day. Wonderful. Shall we share booklet number 2? Why not? Volume 2, the Book of Orb, known as All the Shapes Inside Orb. And here you have a rainbow being, a fully electromagnetically charged human. In 2 different forms, stretched out and closed. These are depictions of mathematical geometrical measurements of human taken from the canon of man, Vitruvius man, or Da Vinci man, depending on what era you look at. This mathematics, this geometry is perfect. From here, if you are interested in the real study of who you are and why you are here, if you are really interested in some of Tesla's information on how to charge the human body in a very simplistic form, you may learn a lot. That is the point. Nothing but. Enjoy if you wish. The Book of Orb, Volume 2. All the shapes inside orb. An extremely simple explanation of dimensions and consciousness. I'll share with you the first picture, known as Metatron's cube. Digest the geometry. Preface. The real you. The story of all the shapes inside orb. Welcome to EMO, E-M-O, electromagnetic orb, meaning sphere, orb, tennis ball. You are not only made of skin and bone, but of your emo, which is your body's home. I present to you your electromagnetic orb, emo, aura, electromagnetic energy field, tube torus, vortex, energy grid, Kundalini, I'm about to unfold the rainbow serpent, the spectrum of light, the electromagnetic orb. Your emo is made of energy of course. And it has an electromagnetic force. Emo is electromagnetic lightning, and its awesome power is very exciting. Emo has 5 very special shapes inside. When we put them together, they appear to hide 5 very special shapes inside an electromagnetic orb, a sphere. Wait for it. There are 5 big ones and 5 little ones in Metatron's cube formation, and they all fit perfectly into Emo. Can you see them? Congratulations. Look for the macro cube. That's the top of it. Down, down. That's the legs, the cube, and there's the bottom. And look for the micro cube. And you'll see them interlocking as a hexahedron. Look for the macro triangle. And look, and it'll be interlocking as a tetrahedron. And look for the micro triangle, and it'll be interlocking as a tetrahedron. The other shapes are there. Scientists call emos atoms. And say that they form your DNA, and that they are what create you right to this very day. There goes your atom spiraling up and down. You're just an atomic being. No body there just yet, just atoms. Look at that. Imagine you're just atoms. And those atoms are just balls of energy. Your emo is made of tiny little emos, spiraling up and down as your energy flows. They have a lot to do, forming all the shapes that make you. Now you can see the body forming. First the energy, first the blueprint, then the building in architecture. First the blueprint, the energy, then the body is the building in spiritual architecture. It's the way energy does it. Comes in at a high vibration in an etherical manner, and it lowers the vibration, the frequency, and therefore the density increases. Quite basic, really. It's kind of like diving, scuba diving, where every fathom, well, let's say meters, 10 meters, every 10 meters is 1 atmosphere of pressure. So at 10 meters underwater, you have one atmosphere of pressure pushing down on you, whereas on the surface it's neutral. There is no atmospheric pressure because air doesn't, well, it is, but it's unmeasurable and non-circumstantial. So when you go underwater, every 10 meters you go down is one atmosphere of pressure. So 20 meters, 2 atmosphere, and once you go 30 meters, 40 meters, the pressure becomes more and more and actually has effects, chemical effects on you, right to nitrogen narcosis, where you basically can feel drunk and start to do silly things that can cause your death. Very similar in the ascension-descension process. As you descend your frequency, lower your frequency, become more bass, from treble to bass. You move from treble, higher frequency, to a lower frequency, a bass frequency, or you move from T to Om, as it were. As you move through that frequency and lower that frequency, things become denser. As the frequency becomes denser, so the energy becomes denser, right to where we're at now. Deep density, what you're experiencing as a physical body. But this is due to a state of mind about energy. Mostly it's due to not having a state of mind about energy, having forgotten about energy due to the fact that you're in the lowest form of your state of memory. You're amnesic, basically, so you're excused due to the fact that you're in a tetrahedronal third-dimensional vehicle of light and have forebode your memory mostly at this point, which I explained in other videos. Let's continue. Emos are made of shapes, and shapes are made of lines and angles. Now pay attention, because each line of a shape is known as a dimension. A line is an opened circle or extended dot. Wow, we have learnt a lot. So the first dimension is line number 1. Hey, that was fun. Do you want to go on? Excuse me. Good decision. That would mean that second dimension is dot or line number 2. Now, when we put these lines together, there are a few things we can do. The third dimension creates the triangle. Now, before we get ourselves in a tangle, let's understand that in 3D, prism is its name, and the refraction of light is its game. living in this, folks. This is what you are living in. This is your dimension. This is the game. This is your existence. This is what's happening. Yes, wow. In comes white light through the prism, through the prismatic refraction, out comes the rainbow. The extraction of the spectrum of light from the white light. Just the spectrum, only the spectrum, which is a tiny form of radiation, and the whole light spectrum. It's like you have a ruler of 30 centimeters and like 15 to 16 centimeter. That 1 centimeter is that spectrum of light, and the rest you can't see. You have no ability to know what's going on in all the other centimeters of that ruler, just your little one in that spectrum there, in that rainbow that you live in, refracted from the whole ruler. Just that 1 centimeter is refracted by a prism. Isn't that fantastic wisdom? The other shapes, you see, they take the other shapes that I showed you before, the next one, like the square or cube, the hexahedron, that takes a little bit more. That takes like a few gamma rays and stuff, and you can see more. Yeah, it's going to get real fun, folks. You can practice this stuff. May take a while, but good luck. Who knows? We'll only know if you do it, or if we do it, or if we all do it. Oh, I don't know. Let's see if anybody does it. Let's go. Let's dive. We live deep within 2 of these prisms. They are us in a way. A rainbow of illusion from the bending of a light ray. And that's what it looks like. 2 prisms, 2 prisms, 2 prisms, 2 prisms, 2 prisms. Interlocking. 2 prisms perfectly interlocking, perfectly geometrically interlocking, confined in a sphere, so it's all in 3D, is a 3rd-dimensional vehicle of light. Your 3rd-dimensional vehicle of light. The 4th dimension, or 4D, causes a square reality. It is actually 2 cubes and has depth of space. With this shape around you, you can transport to another place. The 5th dimension forms what looks like pyramids with rainbows inside. Kind of like a kaleidoscopic galactic vehicle. Should we take a ride? The 6th dimension means we add yet another line to our ever-growing creation. In this way, we move ever closer to our destination. The seventh dimension forms a shape that almost fills the sphere. But that's the idea. And do you know what? It is a wonderful place here. The eighth dimension, or 8D, is the sphere and consciousness of unity. It is oneness, wholeness, nothing less than emo at its best. The sphere is the perfect whole. Within it, all the dimensions roll. Acknowledgement. In compassion for and loving memory of all the galactic beings, especially native earthlings, whom have courageously carried forth this wisdom through lives and deaths to this day, so that we may remember who we are and why we are here. I would like to thank my experiences for my teachings, which have led me to remember the origins of life. And that was all the shapes inside orb. There was a little insight into your capabilities, your dimensional capabilities as a member of the family of consciousness. These are capabilities of human consciousness, of a soul, but they are not the capabilities of a cyborg. Beware your choices, folks. You may lose your capabilities of consciousness. You may downgrade your technology, your conscious technology, to cyborg technology, AI technology. It will be a downgrade. There is no consciousness beyond, there is no superior to consciousness. There is nothing beyond consciousness. All attempts to mimic or clone consciousness. Therefore, it would be a downgrade and an unconscious decision to choose to downgrade from consciousness to unconsciousness via a choice to become cyborgial, a cybergenetic organism. That's like a genetically modified organism. You become GMO. Folks, I hope you enjoyed the first and second volume of the Book of Orb, called The Origin of Orb and All the Shapes Inside Orb. And yeah, I may follow with the rest, volume 3 and 4, if anybody desires. I'm sure I will do so, but I have a lot to get out to you. It's difficult to know what to do when. Anyway, folks, thanks for listening. I'm sure volume 3 and volume 4 will follow shortly. Have a good weekend. Signing out.